Hello, hello, welcome. I hope you guys are all doing well today. Today I wanted to do another faux leather video with you guys. That's why I'm wearing gloves. So I did this one already. And this one I'm going to be doing on parchment paper, as the last two I did on the brown paper bag. So I thought I'd do a different one and do it on parchment paper. And so it's going to be a stamped faux leather. So I did this one first so I could check it out and try it and see how it works. So this is stamped on, but I used too dark of a color and it kind of covered up everything. I got this one here that I stamped earlier. I didn't want to do it on camera because I've already done one of those and it takes forever for me to do that. So I'm going to do this one here. And make sure when you do this though, if you're going to do this, make sure you use a permanent ink like Stays On, or, well, I use Stays On. Like as you heard in most of my videos when I stamp, I use the Stays On and Timber Brown. That's what I did here. So you just, if you don't use permanent, then when you use your either water and your glycerin, then it will smear all over the place. So I'm going to be using, just like I just said, water and glycerin, and then I'm going to be using my Mod Podge with a vintage photo mixture that I made. I do have a short, and it is also in my first video of the recipe book faux leather video. I'm going to be using this. I did use this on the other one, but I used a different color, a darker color. So I'm just going to be using this one on this to make sure it doesn't cover up everything. And then get this one out. So this is pretty much the same process as my other faux leather videos. It's just using parchment paper instead of a paper bag. Hey guys, editing Tracy here. So I wanted to come in real quick and correct some things that I did in the video in the beginning. And I also realized I didn't mention what I used to make this. I said parchment paper, but I didn't say anything about where I got it or anything. So this is it here. It's a big roll of parchment paper that you get from Walmart. It's the stuff that you put on the floor when you're painting, and it comes in a big roll like this. And I've had this for quite a while already, and I've only used a little bit. As you can see, this is probably going to last me quite a while. And this is only $3 and some change at Walmart, so that's what I used. It's awesome, and I love it. So go check it out. And I also wanted to mention that I said to use the water with the glycerin in it. You don't really need to do that with parchment paper because it is really pretty pliable already, so it's not really necessary to do that. You would only do that with like the paper bag just to make it more pliable. Like this, you don't really need to do that. So I just wanted to say that. And I also said that you, in the beginning, and I mentioned it later in the video, but I wanted to come in real quick in the beginning and say this so that if you're following along with me, you don't do as I'm doing. So this one here, I wrinkled it before I put the Mod Podge on it, and as you can see, I mean, you can still see the stamps, but it's actually better to wrinkle it after you put the Mod Podge on it, like I did with this one. Like this one, I was saying that I wasn't going to wrinkle it at all, but it ends up just looking like a flat piece of paper, like a piece of paper with Mod Podge on it, and so it actually is better to wrinkle it, but it's with this, if you're stamping on it, it's better to wrinkle it after you put the Mod Podge on and let it dry because you can see the stamps better. It also might depend on the color you use. This was vintage photo, this was walnut stain. I just wanted to say that, and yeah, let's get back to the video. Okay, bye guys. So the first thing you want to do is sprinkle it up. I'm sorry for the noise. And uncrinkle it. Okay, and then you want to spray it with some of your water and glycerin mixture. Crinkle it up again. And just keep crinkling it until you get it as wrinkly as you want. And you want to make sure you do this before you put your Mod Podge on because it could stick and tear. So I pretty much use the same technique anytime I make faux leather, no matter what I'm using. You just have to make sure you're more careful with this because it is parchment paper, so it's thin. You can't be as rough with it as you can the paper bag. So I have my Mod Podge and my paintbrush, and you just paint it on. And you definitely want to make sure if you're going to stamp on it, make sure you use a light color like Vintage Photo, because like I said, that one I did earlier, I did too dark of a color and it's covering it all up. So just make sure you use a light color, and that way you can see your stamps. I thought this would be cool, and I looked it up on YouTube and I didn't see anything with stamped faux leather, so I thought this would be cool. I had this idea a while ago and I'm just now doing it. I'm not sure why, because you guys love my faux leather videos. So I hope you like this one. And you can use any kind of like paper you want to make faux leather. I mean, I have a video I'll post down below on different techniques that's also doing pretty well. Yeah, this is definitely better. So the first time I used this here, this is just like, well, yeah, home decor wax. So it's actually supposed to be for wood, but I use it on paper, but this was too dark. So it's just best to use Vintage Photo if you're gonna do something like this with stamping on it, because it makes it nice and light and you can still see your stamps. Of course, you want to make sure you put something out. So I'm using a cereal liner bag so you don't mess up your whatever surface you have underneath. And I like to cover up the whole thing with the Vintage Photo Mod Podge. It makes it nice and dark. I'm trying to think of other faux leather videos, but if there's anything else you'd like to see, let me know in faux leather, because I love doing these videos for you guys. I do have a book, like a hardcover journal that I don't like the cover, and I wanted to do one on that, so I need to do that. And then, but if there's any other types of faux leather you'd like to see, let me know. Some fingers stuck to it. Of course, Mod Podge is sticky, so you gotta make sure you don't tear it. I just put up a video earlier on how to make vintage airmail envelopes. I'm hoping you're liking that one. When you get to this point like this, you probably want to start dabbing like this just to make sure you don't rip it. Yeah, this is definitely much better. Thinks that I ruined that. Well, I didn't ruin it, but you just can't see the stamps. That was just one that I did that was supposed to be my stamped collage page, and it didn't work out as well, so I just figured I'd turn it into faux leather. So I guess if it's not like too dark, then that's fine. The stamps weren't perfect, so oops, a little too much. Okay, so now, you saw me wrinkle it up earlier. Of course, now it's kind of getting flat, but you want to wait for it to dry before you wrinkle it up again, because like I said, the Mod Podge, of course, is sticky and you might tear it if you wrinkle it up right now. So you want to wait for it to dry before you do that. Okay, I think that's good. That looks good. I like that. So I'm going to let it dry and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. So here it is, all dry. It looks cool. So you definitely need to make sure if you do this that you use a lighter color, because like I said, the darker one won't work. But I do have another piece that I did yesterday that I wanted to do with you too. So this one here, I'm not going to wrinkle it. I want to see what it looks like, because I always wrinkle it up, and I was thinking like, you know what, not all leather is wrinkled. So I'm gonna do this one and not wrinkle it, and I'm gonna use my Mod Podge with the walnut stain in it and see how that looks. Hopefully it won't be too dark. It shouldn't be. Same technique. You just put some of the Mod Podge down. Oh yeah, that's gonna look cool. Yeah, wow, look at that. I want to thank you guys. I just saw my last faux leather video hit 1,000 views. So thank you for that. And I want to thank all my new subscribers too. I'm at 287 right now. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate all of you. And thank you for liking my videos. I have to admit, it won't look too much like leather. It's gonna be pretty much a flat piece of paper. Maybe we can wrinkle it a little bit. I don't know. Okay, there it is. I think it's gonna look cool, but I think I might wrinkle it a little bit, not as much as I did the other one, just because it really does just look like a piece of paper with Mod Podge and Distress Ink on it instead of leather. So I'm gonna let it dry, hit it with the heat gun, and then maybe wrinkle it up a little bit, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm back, so this is it. It actually does look better wrinkled. It just looks like a piece of flat paper with Mod Podge on it and ink. If you don't wrinkle it, it doesn't look like leather. So yeah, this is it. But I do recommend, like this one here, you saw I wrinkled it before I put the Mod Podge on. I think it actually works better if you're gonna do it like this, like stamping on it. If you're not stamping on it, it doesn't matter what you do, but if you stamp on it, it's actually better to wrinkle it after you put the Mod Podge on and it dries, because it seems to not like distort the stamps as much. Like this one here, yeah, it's just easier to see the stamps when you do it like this. So I recommend wrinkling it after you use the Mod Podge and ink mixture. Okay guys, so there is one more step that I like to do. I don't even remember if I actually did this in the other videos, but I'll have to go back and watch them. But I like to take an ink pad, and I see a lot of ladies do this in their videos, and actually some of them, that's all they'll do, is they'll wrinkle up their paper and just go over it with that. But I like mine darker, so that's why I go over it with the Mod Podge and the ink mixture. And I've heard like a lot of people comment on my videos saying that they like the darker look too, and that's why they like my videos. I like to go over it with the ink pad and just give it some more like, whoops, excuse me, some more like dimension and texture. So I'm going to be using the same one, the walnut stain that I used my ink mixture was walnut stain. So you just go over it like this, kind of give it some more texture. And of course this is totally optional. You don't have to do this if you don't want, if you like the look of it. With these ones I think it does help to make it look like more like leather. I think with the first one I did, I don't think I did it because it already looks so much like leather. I don't remember. It was like months ago that I did that video, so yeah, you just go over it, let it dry, or you can hit it with your heat gun and then go over it with whatever your medium, what's it called? Your clear coat, you know, to seal it, and then you'll be done. And I also wanted to add, somebody asked in a comment recently on my last faux leather video, what I do to the back, and I don't do anything to usually, because I'm usually going to be using it for a journal cover, or even if you use it for like labels or tags or anything like that, you can back it with something like parchment paper, or not parchment paper, sorry, cardstock, to make it thicker, especially with parchment paper because it's already thin. So, but if you want, you can always, if you're planning on using it for something else, you can always do the same thing to the back that you did to the front and just have like a full piece of faux leather. Totally up to you. I usually don't do anything to the back, but that's me. You can do what you want. I just wanted to throw that in there, and yeah, that's it. Okay guys, I'm back. So once your faux leather dries and everything and you painted it the way you want to use Mod Podge and seal it, or, well, you don't have to use Mod Podge, but use whatever you want. Matte medium, I prefer Mod Podge, and I mix mine with distilled water to make it a little thinner so it's easier to spread. But you want to seal it with that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I almost forgot about this actually. So you want to do that and make sure you seal it good so that when you use it for whatever project you're going to use it for, it's sealed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's done. So I'm using matte Mod Podge. See, it's coming off on my brush. That way you don't have to sit here and watch me paint this whole thing. You already saw me painting the paint on, or the ink on. So I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, here it is after putting the Mod Podge on. Like I said, I used the matte one, but as most of you know, that matte Mod Podge isn't really matte. I mean, this one actually looks more matte than that one does, and I use the same kind of Mod Podge in this than I did, because this is matte too. Yeah, it doesn't look as matte. Anyway, it looks pretty cool. I think that the Mod Podge might have brought the stamps out a little bit, made them more visible. I tried to do it on this one too, but it didn't help. I mean, this one still looks cool because you can still see the stamps are just really like hidden. And if you hold it up to the light, it looks like one of those old pieces of paper, like parchment paper that you find. So it looks pretty cool. You just can't see it very well when you put it down on the table. So I'm not sure what I'll use that for, but I didn't do this one. So I'm already using Mod Podge, so it's, you don't have to use it to seal it. But I thought this one looked cool the way it is, so I just left it. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so here they are. They look so cool. I hope you like this variation of faux leather, and I hope you try it. And if you do, let me know in the comments below. Also, you guys love my faux leather videos, and I love making them for you, so let me know what you would like to see. So I hope you liked the video, and please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I love you guys. I also want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I'm at 287 now. I love you guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye guys.